Do you remember how the dollar sign looks like? Like this or like this? Well, whichever one you picked is actually right. Both variants are used at the same time.
However, many people claim this is an example of what is called the Mandela Effect. Mandela Effect is defined by Healthline as collective false memories.
The most famous example would be the Monopoly Man, which never had a monocle, and Nelson Mandela dying in 2013, whereas many people remember him dying in prison back in the 1980s. According to Reddit, even the number of US states has decreased from 52 states to 50 states. Weirdly enough, if you type "what are 52", Google will finish the sentence with "what are the 52 states of America?" Is this residue from another reality? Or is this just a common misconception? How is this even possible that so many people who never met each other would Google the exact same thing incorrectly?
There have been many theories ranging from blaming CERN and its Hadron Collider, which may have shifted us into a parallel universe, to blaming quantum physics and the idea that the reality around us can actually change simply by us observing it. This is called the quantum observer effect. It implies that human thoughts and consciousness itself has a direct impact on the reality around us. Surprisingly, there may be some scientific evidence for it.
Researchers at the Wisman Institute carried out an experiment where tiny pieces of matter called electrons were sent through a wall with two slits in it. When not observed, the electron went through both slits at the same time, and then reattaching itself to one another after it passes the wall. When observing the experiment, the electron behaved in a totally different way, by going only through one slit, meaning that the act of observing changed the behavior of the electron.
Many people see this experiment as evidence for the simulation theory. Just like video games use rendering to load assets and objects, the universe renders in real time as we look at it. There have even been discussions about quantum immortality, which is a theoretical concept about human consciousness transferring to another universe after our death.
This would imply that all of us have already died at some point in previous universes, but we don't remember it because our minds have been transferred to this universe where we stayed alive.
Is it possible that these theories are nothing more than people refusing to accept that their memories are not reliable? Well, researchers were able to implant mice with false memories of them being electrocuted in a mice chamber. Whenever the mice entered the chamber, they acted scared because they believed that they were already electrocuted before, even though that never actually happened.
Mice and people have very similar brain architectures made of similar types of cells. This means that false memories can easily be implanted into any of us. Not only that, concept of false memories goes way back before the death of Nelson Mandela in 2013. German psychiatrist Karl Bonhoeffer coined the term confabulation in the early 1900s. He used it to describe when a person gives false answers or false information because that is what the person truly remembers.
To prove this, we can use an example of the Mandela effect, which comes from Russia. Many Russians remember the Soviet flag looking like this. However, it always had a star on it. So how is this possible that even the people who saw this flag a million times have never noticed the star? Well, the flag exists with two variants, one with the star and one without the star.
However, things may not be as simple as just bad memory. Whilst many people know about the Mandela effect, less people know about flip-flops. And no, we're not talking about those flip-flops. Flip-flops in the Mandela effect community refer to events and things reverting back to how they were in their original form. One example which many people claim to have seen is the change of Fruit Loops cereal, which went from Fruit Loops with two O's and fruit to Fruit Loops as a normal fruit, and then changed again to its original form.
Another example is Flintstones. Many people claim that the famous cartoon show was always called Flintstones with two T's. However, at some point it changed to only one T. That is until it reverted back to its original name. The obvious question is, what happens to the Mandela Effect videos before it reverts back? They just vanish, leaving no trace of any changes or flip-flops.
Unlike the normal Mandela effect, majority of which could easily be a memory issue, flip-flops are a lot harder to explain. Like this video, subscribe to the Two Minds and tell us in the comments what could be the potential explanation for Mandela effect flip-flops.